Hey, welcome back. It's been a while. Because I'm going with the flow. Doing things when I intuitively feel... Alright, I'm too tired for that. What I really wanted to talk about today, though, is not flow state. That's something I've been talking about for a very long time, and I'm grateful that I'm starting to finally understand it. But really want to talk about being an addict, honestly, because the more I step into sobriety and I have to learn things that I guess should have already known, and I'm starting to realize that I've always said this to people, that addiction puts a pause button on your life. So, let's say you picked it up at 16, you hit the pause button at 16. It doesn't matter if you're in your 30s now. You still need to go back and learn how to be a person from 16 years old. Because you learn different skills and coping mechanisms and even different self-care skills. None of them apply in sobriety. It's ridiculous. So that's another reason that addiction is so hard to get out of, because we don't know what we're doing. I didn't have a freaking cell phone or a bank account for 7 years, or a car or anything. And now I have a car, and I'm having insurance stuff going on, and I have hyperventilating panic attacks because I don't know what I'm doing. 34. And I've been on my own since I was 18, so you can't even think, that's because you let everybody do the stuff for you. That's not the case. It doesn't matter. No one's... Oh, okay. Lost my train of thought. You just learn how to function differently in society, or not in society, because we don't really tend to mingle when you're addicted, and these skills and these weird things that you learn during active addiction don't apply anymore. And it's nuts. Your body's not even the same once you detox. I went through huge bodily reneutralization, or whatever you would want to call it, where my body was fine, and then I got clean, and my body started to purge toxins, and my periods were off, and my bowel movements were ridiculous. I was getting hemorrhoids all the time, nuts, and it makes you almost why did I quit? You really feel like you're almost being punished for doing the right thing. And for that first year, man, it was such a struggle. And I kept blaming me. Something's wrong with me. There's something wrong with my body. There's something up. When in all reality, it's just this adjustment period from active addiction to not active addiction. But it's almost like I blacked out active addiction once I got sober. We're just not gonna look at that. And now that I'm sober, I should be able to blink, be right back into the normal people track, and everything's fine. No one would even know, kind of thing. I don't even know. But that's not true. I didn't know how to grocery shop. Didn't know what foods I should even be eating. Everything was different from the last time I was conscious. You go into a supermarket, you don't even know what to buy anymore. You have to figure yourself all the way out over again. Yeah, it's hard. Simple things too. Yeah, it's a whirlwind. And the more I'm in 5 years now, and the more I do it, the more I realize the longer you stay in active addiction, the harder it's going to be, like, to get back on the horse. I don't know, man. It's hard because, like, you don't want sympathy about it because it was your choice, right? To use an unhealthy coping skill for your mental health. So, I mean, that's at least how I felt. So I'm not walking around looking for sympathy. I'm not asking for help. Wasn't asking people to teach me. And that in turn is actually a form of self-harm because you're punishing yourself for your past mistake of choosing to pick up and use instead of learning other skills. I mean, I didn't know there was another option, but that doesn't matter. So now there's this guilt and this shame and this self-abuse because you're pissed at yourself. And now everything's so much harder in sobriety. And you're basically beating yourself up. I remember crying in a Rite Aid because I didn't know which tampons to buy. Because when I was in the heat of my addiction, I'd either not get my period because of being unhealthy, or I'd get it but just like spotting and not really give a shit about it. And it was just like once you return to your empowerment, like your mind is free of the imprisonment of addiction, all that stuff hits you like a ton of bricks, like emotionally, like sad. Like, because now at the time, now I was like 29, 28, and I didn't know how to buy tampons. Like, I didn't, and I don't think, we don't really talk about this a lot because of that guilt and that shame. And also because of the stigma of people being like, well, it was your choice to pick up in the first place. No, you're right. But also, there weren't any really other options at the time, for mental health. And it is way more public now. We are way more discussionary. I don't know. We discuss it way more and talk about it more. Because, like, I'm seeing a lot of this stuff. People go back and forth with, like, the homelessness and drug use and the drug epidemic. And, they're like, well, they wouldn't be homeless if they were doing drugs. Yeah, but what if they're doing drugs because of their mental health? Like, I've been homeless many of times, and not always just because of drug abuse or alcohol abuse, just because my mental health made it hard for me to make a phone call. People don't realize the gravity, the weight of these things, and there's people out there that suffer in silence, aka me, because we compare ourselves to the rest of the world, and we beat ourselves up. We don't look at the world and say, oh, how unfair that it's not suitable for me. Someone make it suitable for me. No, we hide in the shadows and be doing everything we can just to survive. And I did this silently for so many years. And I broke down one day because my friend and I were having a spiritual day and like really sitting and thinking about things like this. And I started crying because, we got on the topic of like equal rights and like trans and the LGBT plus community, things like that. And I'm a compassionate person. So like, I'm all for everybody having whatever, as long as everybody's treated with kindness and respect. But in that moment, it triggered me because I set that and I sat with it. I was like, why is it triggering me right now? Why am I pissed off that you're, fighting so hard for these rights at me right now, like telling me about it, like all these people, getting jumped and they're getting robbed and it's sexist and it's what's the word for like anti LGBT plus community, like that was the whole thing, like, oh, it's because people are not inclusive, they're not accepting of them, and I'm sitting there and I go to her and I said, I've been robbed, I've been mugged, I've been raped, I've been everything that this group of people that you're trying to express to me right now, I've gone through, just as a person, not as a like, I don't even have a title, I'm just human being. And all of those same situations have happened to me. But there's no parade for me. There's no group community for me. There's nobody online fighting for people like me. Those have been struggling and not fighting the system, literally not even having the energy or the emotional capacity to even think of the system. I'm not even registered to vote. Why? Because I'm still just trying to get food on the table. You know what I'm saying? Like, and also years of addiction. My brain's not in a place where I can even be thinking about that. And I'm still trying to make it through the day, right? And I've been like this. And I told her there was a story. I told her a story about a time I was so depressed. I was hungry. I was broke. I was barely keeping a roof over my head. 18 years old. And I got up into the supermarket line with like a bunch of cans of tuna and like some cans of beans, because that's all I was living on at the time. And I started hysterically crying, silently, obviously, because I'm at a grocery store, because I saw this stuffed rabbit. It was around Easter time. And that stuffed rabbit, when I saw it, brought me a spark of joy that I hadn't felt in years. But then I would have had to make a choice between the joy I felt in my chest or the emptiness in my belly. And it's like, we don't talk about this enough. And we're over here trying to pave new roads and new rights and new inclusion things and new this, when the people who have just been suffering are still overlooked. You know, I'm in a better place now than I ever have been, and I don't have those same struggles anymore. I've been doing cognitive behavioral therapy, been doing dialectical behavior therapy. I've been doing this actively for like 7 to 8 years now. So, right, I'm not there. I've got a better situation, better lifestyle that supports my mental health. But the government didn't help me build that. My community didn't help me build that. My community now supports what I've built, being that I sell to the community and I coach the community. But nobody, and I guess I'm bringing it up, A, because it's triggering, but also B, because I believe Suicide Awareness Month is September. I know that there's a walk for it in my local area, which I'm going to do, but that's why it's coming up right now. Because, like, it's not a trend. Mental health is not a trend. You know, it's not cute to bed rot. It's not cute to crash out. It's not cute. It's not funny. It's not, like, and the people that are making lighthearted, in my opinion, mockeries about mental health struggles, even though they don't mean to be, they're not doing it out of a place of mockery. I believe it's a place of wanting to feel included, and right now it's our biggest trend is mental health. Once again, trend, because I personally am not seeing where, whatever, but it's now a trend, and that's unfortunate. And it's becoming harder to find beds in inpatient because we have people who don't know how to put their phones down and touch some grass or get a job or hold down any semblance of responsibility for themselves. And trust me, you can have mental health challenges and still push yourself to learning how to handle responsibilities and challenges. And we're not doing that. We've got an average of 8 hours of screen time right now for American, I believe the Gen Z generation, and for millennials it's about 5 hours or something like that. Either way, that's way too much time. And my question is, why do we not recognize that we are creating ill mental health? I've been like this since I was a child. Circumstantially, of course. Gone through some pretty traumatic experiences. I did not grow up with a phone in my hand. I did not grow up with a computer in my bedroom. TV time was limited. Mostly only if the family was sitting and watching a movie, or the Fox News channel, or the Discovery Channel, and playing outside was a big thing, right? And my point is, are we eating well? Are we getting outside? Are we putting the phone down? Are we journaling? Are we creative writing? Are we creating things? Do we have hobbies? Are we interested in art? Etc. This goes on. And if you're not checking off any of those boxes, and then you're still claiming to struggle with your mental health, you didn't try anything yet. Maybe you don't have what everybody keeps going on TikTok and on the internet and self-diagnosing themselves, which is becoming a rampant problem. Rampant. And people are discounting themselves from trying because they've watched a video that resonates with them, and now their mental health, I don't need to try because I have this slew of disorder. I have this, and I have this. So now you accommodate for me. And that pisses me off. You are the evolution. You are made different for a reason. If you are clinically diagnosed, you are that way for a reason. Even if it's circumstantial, you're biologically designed for every experience you go through, meaning every experience is hand-tailored for your development. So if that development means developing a mental health challenge, that means it's up to you to figure out how to overcome, adapt, and find the opportunity to grow within that mental health challenge. It's not meant for you to turn around to the stagnant society and force them to accommodate for you. What are you asking right now? What do you want? What do you want? You want to not overcome? You want to not find the opportunity inside of adversity? You want to ask the it's not going to help us grow, is what I'm saying. Yes, I would have appreciated maybe more light on these things, but we're so wrapped up with every other trend and fad that this doesn't get taken seriously. And going back to what I said before, that's a true statement. It has become significantly more difficult to find a spot in an inpatient program than it ever has been before. In my opinion, because we don't know how to put this away. We don't know how to stop comparing ourselves to people online. We don't know how to stop picking up on everything that just sounds interesting or resonates microly. We don't know how to stand in our own power, in our own uniqueness, and in our own vulnerabilities. We've got makeup I've never seen this before. Granted, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I didn't have internet or phone connection for the majority of my 20s due to active addiction or internet. However, when did I go to sleep and wake up and it's common now? I wouldn't call it normal, but it's now commonplace to put on multiple layers of makeup? Why don't you just go to the store and buy some silicone and mold it onto your face and make a mask? Paint the mask with your makeup, and then whenever you want to go out, you just pop reusable. Because we're all so fixated on buying 1,000 different products to cover our faces. I thought we were pissed off about the masks and COVID. I thought we were mad about that. I'm confused. And is that not going to somehow also in turn one day mess with your mental health? It totally will. Every morning you wake up and face paint a mask on for an hour, you're telling yourself you're not good enough. And we're buying into it through consumerism and TikTok trends and makeup tutorials, and it's now becoming common. We have 8-year-olds teaching me how to do skincare. Whatever happened to a bar of soap and some lotion? And then if you have an acne problem, then like what happened to then, that's where you had like 1,000 steps because you're trying to get the antibacterial and all those different things for the inflammation. But like I'm seeing girls with a face like mine, 1,000 serums to keep the skin good, and then another 1,000 paint jobs to cover up what you just made look nice. And we're doing these things blindly. And instead we're focusing on problems that are made up and don't exist, instead of recognizing that we are taking our own mental health as an entire society and just Kobe-ing that right into the trash. It's like eating McDonald's every day and then crying about being fat. I don't even need to explain that anymore. It's literally that. And and I want to be compassionate to all. But it is very hard to listen to someone's major struggle be that like they don't have a phone for a day. And that has them on the floor, hyperventilating, crying, just like the abuse I've been through has me on the ground. And something I learned, though, in my outpatient trauma program was that you should never compare traumas, because to that person who's going through that, in my opinion, trivial, invented by modern day society problem, it's hard for me. Okay, let me finish the thought. So that's their biggest struggle, because they've never experienced anything else, right? And this is where it gets tough for me, because I've experienced everything else, and I guess I don't, it's hard to resonate. It's hard to show that compassion. It's hard to be in that position when, in my opinion, you shouldn't be on the phone that much anyway. Or whatever the situation is. I don't know. It's like, or like complaining about your job. Get a new one. That's all. If it doesn't work out for you, get a new one. And it's just, those things are trivial to me, because there is so much trauma and abuse that's in the world that's out of your control. Why not take the things that can be in your control and control them? We know screen time is bad for us. Limit your screen time. We know that staying inside all day is bad for us. So get outside, touch some grass. We know that not following circadian rhythm cycles affects our mood. Like, and if you don't know these things, what everyday, common, modern, acceptable situations, if you don't know which ones are harmful, maybe I have an upper hand because I didn't go through the evolution of technology. I had that gap. So when I got back on board, I was surprised that everybody has accepted this as now common. So maybe you guys don't know because you were inside the evolutionary process, so you just kind of accepted it as it kept changing. But I'm telling you, from an outsider looking in, you need to start questioning every single one of your daily habits. And type into Google, is doing blah, blah, blah every morning good for me? Is doing blah, blah, blah good for me every day? Is eating this good for me? Is doing this good for me? Why aren't we doing that? I've had to do that. When this is fickle, you don't really have an opportunity to not do that. You have to figure it out. Unless you just go on medication. I did that route too. You don't really got to change your lifestyle, but you go numb. You don't want to feel the pain, but you won't feel nothing else either. So it's like, there's two options in my world. And the pride I feel in myself when I do something that was hard mentally for me. Physical stuff can also trigger my mentality. So when I'm able to do I've done maybe 7 markets or more this summer, vending events, breaking down a tent, multiple tables, on my whole display and everything. I was never able to do that before because that would trigger. So now that I'm able to do that, I did one yesterday. So this is the state that I'm in. And I always have to kind of rebalance. But that's all right. There used to be a time it took me a week, including 2 bidets completely in bed. And no, I didn't just throw my hands up and say I have mental health challenges. Now I have an autoimmune disorder because of that. Now I'm not going to try. What I did was, okay, what about these events? What about prepping for them, getting ready for them, setting them up? What about this is doing this to my mental health? What is triggering these symptoms? How can I then evolve and adapt and overcome so that the next year when I do these events, it's not like this? So it looked like a lot of staying on top of product every day, not just a week before a giant event and then you just cram everything in there. It just means for me, it meant more consistency, more tiny little bites of the long goal. I could not compare myself to other vendors or other people doing their way of doing it. Some of them can be up until midnight printing out their last display sign or whatever. I'm not allowed. Me, mind, body, and spirit, that doesn't work for me. I cannot do that. So as many times as I'm sitting at vending events and everybody's bonding over their last minute work and their stress and how funny it is, I'm sitting there I've been done since yesterday because I can't afford that. Because my energy is my currency and I can't afford that. Which also kind of isolates me from my other peers because I don't understand. I can't do what they do. I can't live like that. I can't live with the chaotic entrepreneurial mindset. It needs to be super disciplined for me, so that I can keep my mind, body, and spirit in mind. Excuse me. And it's made me a better person because of it. So everybody out there who's asking for accommodation, I challenge you to accommodate for yourself. How can you figure it out? How can you do the same thing, but in a different way that supports your mind, body, and spirit? And like I said earlier, if it doesn't work out, do something else. Especially when it comes to jobs. I can't even tell you how many jobs I've had. Who gives a shit? As long as you got food coming in, right? And you can pay your bills, who gives a shit? Just do it. There was a summer I made cheesesteaks. Like, who gives a shit? Just do what you gotta do. And bagel drive-through. Like, come on. You just do what you gotta do. And if that doesn't work out, you leave that, you try again. Because did you know you still get paid? Even if it's a new job, you're still getting paid. Like, it doesn't matter. And I get it. A lot of people are thinking like, yeah, but if I want to get promoted, stay within the company. Yeah, that's great. That's very healthy thinking. But if you're where I'm at with my mental health, that opportunity never even was available. So... So I'm speaking to the people who are where I'm at, where you just jump from like service industry job to another service industry job to another service industry job, because but who cares? Who gives a shit? And you don't like that after a while? Do another thing. Or do that shitty job, but that it doesn't wear on you here, keeps your mental health all right, but it's like wearing on you just because it's like boring or whatever. Start a side thing. Create something and sell it. Seriously. We need more of that. Like, I scared the shit out of some people last night at my vending event because I said to them, I was like, picture a future where all we do is shop at Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, I ran out of corporate names because I don't go there often. But whatever. Just imagine that's all we did. We funneled all of our money into these big conglomerates. And you're basically siphoning out the energetics, the value, the worth of the people. And it's going into these corporations. And it's not coming back to the people. When was the last time Walmart did it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, look at if you were to support a small business or a local business, right? Within your community. So you pay me, let's say, and then I go to another local spot and I get pizza with my payment. Now, that pizza payment goes into the same community, the same town. Now, that guy who I just spent to the pizza in my local town got pizza. He then goes and he goes to a farm stand and he gets a bunch of apples and vegetables. And now that's in the hands of the farmer. And then the farmer invests that in more chickens or chicken feed or whatever, which then goes into eggs. And the eggs go back up to the farmer stand. And then another person buys the eggs from the farmer stand. And then the person who bought the eggs from the farmer stand, just so happenly is a baker, same town, creates a bunch of cupcakes and shit, sells those out. Now, in the same town... So someone paying me ended up paying 5 different people and then basically brought you full circle back to a vending table of baked goods in the same town. So when you spend money within your small businesses, in your local community, are you even losing money? Or is it just repetitively cycling back throughout the community? Right? Now, like, we just got some construction done. So the demo guys, they got paid. Those same guys probably went and got lunch down the street. Like, you see how that works? And when you think of that, I'm always up here. My brain does the visuals before it formulates the words. But, like, I visualize that as, like, colorful, juicy, like, vibrant, pumping full of life, like just those kinds of words. And you just see all this color and vibrancy within your local community. Now, if you keep funneling your money to Home Depot Home Depot is a bad example because like everybody needs a Home Depot, but like Walmart, Michael's, Joann's, whatever, these big, I don't go to them enough, so I don't know them, but these big companies, right? That goes to the company. And then they pay their employees a meager amount, not enough to sustain living. So then they're not at a farmer's market buying fun, cool stuff from their local community because they're only getting paid just enough to recycle it back into the corporation. They're doing that on purpose. You realize that, right? They don't want you supporting small business. They don't want you supporting your local community. So they pay you just enough to get your bills and maybe your rent paid. And then the rest is so budgeted that you have to go to Walmart. You have to go to these mass-produced places. Now you're keeping places like this in business as well as because of a need. It's a need. Because why can't a business like Walmart pay any more than minimum wage? It's a multi-million-dollar corporation. But you got small businesses paying minimum wage, and they get tips typically. Like, really, small businesses. Like, if you put a tip jar out, by all means, put a tip jar out. Who cares? People are going to put stuff in there. And so you got your employees making minimum wage plus, and they're happier because they're treated like family. They're actually seen, taken into account, you know. They go home with a warm, freaking fuzzy feeling, not just like a cold, fluorescent lighting, I just clocked out from prison feeling. And they do go to the farmer's market because they got the time, they got the mental health for it. You know what I'm saying? And that extra tip money, that's cash in your pocket. You don't get that working for a clock in, clock out place, like a big place like that. Yeah, so imagine what the world would look like. Eventually, you're a neighborhood pizza guy? Gone. Florist? Gone. Boutique? Gone. Just picture any unique small business will be gone if that's all we do is feed the corporations. And that's why I tell you, if you have mental health challenges, become an entrepreneur. Work with your own schedule. Work with your own way of pushing yourself and motivating yourself. Work with your own expectations and your own success. You might need that part-time job still while you do that, but that's fine. Give them only a meager amount of your time. But then funnel the rest of your power into that. Because I'm telling you, it's another one of my theories that we're supposed to be doing this. We are becoming so evolved and transformed within our minds that maintaining a semblance of normalcy inside of a fluorescent lit corporation is no longer vibing with us. I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't mean that as a choice. I mean, I would literally not be able to do it. It's hard to explain that. I'm just glad I'm not in a place where I can go, I'll show you. I'm glad I don't have to show you because I've been there and it's not healthy. So if you're faced with a challenge right now with your mental health, I urge you to ask yourself, how can I accommodate me? What do I need to feel better? You know, and I'm telling you right now, the answer's not going to be that other people have to walk on eggshells for me. It doesn't. Trust me, I've been there. It doesn't, nobody gives a shit. And no matter how much you cry about it, it's not going to make someone give more of a shit. Trust me on that one too. You're your only person coming to save you, which is also a brilliant thing, because then you've got opportunities, you've got options. You can build your life back up in a way that supports your mental health. Don't look out there. Don't compare yourself to everybody else. Don't compare what's going on, what so-and-so's able to do, or what so-and-so, like, who gives a shit? You gotta do what you can do. Yeah. Like, if you need support, you get support. If you need a group therapy thing, you get that. Like, do the things. Don't just sit here and keep self-diagnosing yourself on Instagram and TikTok. Like, that's just gonna trick your brain into more cheap dopamine. So, like, make sure the recipe of how you live your life isn't the thing that's baking the mental health challenge cake, right? Make sure the ingredients you're putting into that cake support your mental health. And yes, I'm not gonna lie to you and say that I don't have days where I'm like, shit, I wish it wasn't like this. I wish it wasn't a challenge. Sure. But then on those really great days, I am beyond appreciative that I have these mental health challenges, because it helped me build a life that does support me more. But yeah, when it gets hard and the thicket of challenge, of course I have a little mini breakdown about that. Who wouldn't? It's like you assuming a guy with no legs who's always happy in a wheelchair. Like, you don't think he has the occasional breakdown about it? Yeah, he's learned how to overcome, adapt, and evolve. But, like, you don't think every once in a while, he sees someone run and he's like, fuck. Yeah, that happens. But that doesn't mean you don't yell, give me your legs. Fuck you, give me your legs. Like, it doesn't work like that. You accept where you're at and you move on. You don't get mad at the guy running because you don't have legs. Like, I'm not mad at people who have less trauma than me. I'm not mad at people for not having PTSD. And I'm not like, oh, no, if anything, I inquire of things from them. So how do you do this, and that? Because, like, it's been a while for me. Like, utilize that. Ask more questions. Break it down. Figure it out. Love yourself so much that you don't freaking beg people to give you their legs. You know what I'm saying? This is who you are. Mental health and all. So, let's get cracking. Well, I will one day eventually go keep talking about what I wanted to talk about today. This totally took another, which is fine. I don't mind. I'm glad that it went where it was going, but I wanted to keep talking about the duality of, like, addiction and non-addiction, that life. But I think I'm still learning it, so we'll keep filling you in as I go. But have a great day. Food for thought. Think about that, what I've said. Let's stop fighting each other to force people to advocate or accommodate for you. Let's stop being angry about it and, like, just start self-accommodating, self-advocating, and do it through a place of peace, because none of us are right. Everybody's got their own thing going on, their own situations and their own needs, and we have to learn to self-advocate for them in a way that doesn't push people away or make us look like a joke. And that is where DBT comes in, and CBT. So we can always dive into that again, too. Have a great day, guys. And have a good weekend.